Hello and welcome to Nothing to Wear, the podcast that solves fashion problems and levels up your wardrobe. Today, I'm talking to stylist Anthea O'Connor about the blueprint. What is the blueprint? You've got one in your wardrobe, you're going to go and work out what it is, and it's going to change your life when it comes to getting dressed in the morning.
You have to do it. You live for fashion.
Anthea, firstly, welcome to the show. It is so wonderful to have you, and I start every episode with a new guest with a couple of questions. So, firstly, can you describe your own style in 3 words?
Oh, goodness. Well, hi, Lee, and thank you for having me. Very excited to be joining you today. And look, I have given this a little bit of thought because I thought by now at this point in my career, I really should have this down pat. I've come up with a word called progressive classic, which I kind of made up because I guess, like most people, I'd like to think my sense of style is classic, but I think progressive meaning I'm not going to get stuck in a style rut, and I'm always looking ahead to what the kind of reworked, sort of refreshed classic piece is.
I really like that. That is so true because you know, there's the classics, but shapes change, but it's still a white shirt. It might be a different white shirt.
That's exactly right. And the category might be the same, but the sort of execution is tweaked a little bit and you're moving forward with it.
I love that. Now, are you claiming that as 1 word or 2?
Look, I in my notes said I've made it up and it was hyphen, but we could make that one word.
Yeah, that's 1 word. What else have you got?
Elevated, which is sort of a funny old word, but I think for me that means I'm just going to be trying to smarten it up all the time. I'm one of those people where I feel, don't save your good stuff, put it on, feel good, look your best, and don't kind of save it for a special occasion. So
Agreed.
Means just kind of dial it up all the time because I don't mind being the most overdressed person in a room.
Me neither. I'm not going to wear a ball gown, but if I've got, 5 pairs of jeans and one of them are the best ones, I want to reach for the good ones.
So that's exactly my thinking as well. And then I thought another word was maybe assured because, and by that I mean I know what looks good on me by now and I know how it makes me feel, and I hope that's reflected in my style and how I'm wearing something.
I love that too. And I hope so too, because this is your job. And I must agree, you are definitely those 3 words. Now, the saying that rings true with most people, we wear 10% of our wardrobe 90% of the time. So there's stuff we reach for over and over. What's in your 10%?
Oh, goodness. This is such a great stat. And it's interesting because I've sort of used that stat a lot myself. And I thought we wore 20% of our wardrobe 80% of the time. So I'm loving this increase.
I feel sorry for the 90% though.
Oh, it's so true. So what is in my 10%? It is definitely denim. I do feel we've had a couple of seasons of very denim-centric kind of style and fashion looks. So denim at the moment. Shirts. I wear shirts and shirting a lot. I really kind of go between those and white T-shirts.
Mm-hmm. You and I sound like we should share a wardrobe.
As long as I get your skincare in the mix too. But so definitely denim, shirts, T-shirts and a great blazer are my definite sort of tight pieces within that 10%.
Okay.
Definitely.
I like that. We are very similar. Now, listen, you're a personal stylist and you have been for many years. So who are your clients and what do you find are their main problems with their wardrobe? What are they coming to you for?
Good question. I am a stylist and I work with everyday normal ladies, just regular women who are getting about their weeks, their days and their weeks. I have a really broad mix of clients. I've been doing this for 14 years since I left Vogue. And really, I'm working with clients that I began working with back in 2010. So it's been a really lovely kind of next chapter of my fashion career. And I work with regular women that can be anything from a corporate executive to a stay-at-home mum to someone that is juggling their own business with other aspects of their life and kind of everything in between. So I guess the thing that probably sets my sort of little business and what I do apart is I sort of begin this journey with all my gorgeous clients and we sort of really stay together. And
that's amazing.
We get in and out of work together and see each other a few times a year, once every 2 years. It kind of depends on the client.
And why do they come to you? Are they overwhelmed by fashion? Do they not have time for fashion? Are they trying to get the best out of their budget? All of the above?
Yes, absolutely all of the above. I think essentially they're coming to me because they're busy, they've got a lot on, they've got other things that are taking priority in their brain, capacity, and they're coming to me for my kind of expert eye. I can cut to the chase. I know the best black pants they need for what they need them to do. It's a little bit, I guess I describe it a little bit like being an interior designer. Not many people would
Yes.
embark on a big house renovation project without getting an expert opinion or an expert eye in the mix for some of those critical decisions. And I feel I sort of am a little bit similar, but in the wardrobe clothing space. They're coming to me for my expert eye, a bit of a well-edited eye, and I present to them the kind of curated edit of what I think they need for what they need.
That's such a good analogy. That is so, so true. It's like, you wouldn't do a big fit out without a professional, and it's the same thing.
Embarking on the process of a personal stylist is an investment, but I do feel you're setting yourself up for better financial decisions and outcomes with your wardrobe. And I will often say to a client, and this is where it gets really funny. After we sort of work through our process together and we set up their wardrobe and everything's there, they'll say, I've got a black tie function on Thursday. I need a new dress. And I'll say, no, you don't. Refer back to those black velvet pants that we just set you up with that look great for an after 5 event look, and that fabulous top. So you don't need to go and do that impulse spend, panic purchase.
Yes.
I really hate panic purchases.
Yeah.
And
I never panic purchase, but I emotional purchase a lot, which and I'm always in some sort of emotion. And so honestly, I do need a bit of a minder when it comes to shopping. It sounds like that's what you're good for. Now, something you've talked about before is when you go shopping with these clients, you're like their projector against the shop assistants and you're their advocate. What do you mean by that?
I like to think that I'm a sort of a value add in a retail space with a client, because I really work with women that are predominantly, I guess, sort of early 40s through to late 50s. And interestingly, a lot of women in that demographic might have lost their kind of sense of style confidence and lose a little bit of that self-confidence part, particularly when they're at retail and they get a little bit overwhelmed by what's in front of them. And I like to think I'm there. I am a bit of an advocate. I will say exactly what I think. So whereas perhaps a retail assistant will say, that looks great, that looks great. I'm there going, actually, they really do look great. And actually that pair doesn't look as great. And they don't look as great because of X, Y, Z. So creating context and explanation, which makes the whole shopping process a lot more informative and educated and easier ultimately. So
yeah, and it can be intimidating. I mean, I mostly shop online these days, but if I do go in store sometimes and the sales assistant is saying, how do you look in that? Do you need another size? Let me have a look. Oh, that looks great. And sometimes you're like, oh, okay. And you might end up buying it, or you might end up leaving because it's a lot. But if you tried on other things in that store, you might have found some winners.
100%. And I really kind of make that retail time count. I'm out there running around the floor, making sure I've got all the items that I think are right for that client, how they work back with the pieces that we've already pulled. So I guess I'm sort of that edit running around.
Yes. Because half the time I'm like, I need a different size. I can't be bothered. I've got to put my clothes on, go get it. I'll just leave.
That's exactly right. Whereas I'm out there getting the size above, below. So we've got all the options and we're doing that in real time. Bang, bang, bang. Yes, no, yes, no. So it ends up being a much more efficient way to go shopping.
And speaking of in real time, so you take these clients shopping wherever possible. Do you ever work with people that are interstate? Do you have people that shop online, or do you ever recommend, online purchases?
Absolutely. The nature of how we do our retail, what I call our retail appointment together, because we start with the wardrobe audit at their house in their own wardrobe. Part 2 is the retail appointment. That has changed significantly in the last 4 or 5 years since COVID. So pretty much the model now is I will go back to with clients with a full recommendations list, and it is largely online. Now, some things we will do in person at retail, but largely it will be online. And that, again, depends on the client and the brief and what we're trying to fulfill. But it is a mix, but it is definitely skewing more towards online. And then we pull it all in and we do a fitting. And this is where it gets even better, because we do a fitting then at their house and we are trying all the pieces on with their existing items of clothing.
Okay.
With their accessories in their own personal environment. And it just makes for a bigger, I think a more efficient experience at getting the whole big picture.
So it's a kind of a wardrobe edit and then a shopping situation of some sort, and then at the end it's kind of pulling together the old and the new.
Pulling it all together. We're integrating the new items that we're using to rework and refresh their old existing items, because we don't just come in and move everything out.
No
I'm
way.
going in with an eye to say, they're great, but we're going to wear them this way. We're going to try those pants with a whole different concept of top or a different shape blazer. So we sort of earmark the things that are certainly there with potential. We then bring in the new items that are going to just update and refresh what they have, and we just do a massive big fitting together at the end. And then that allows them to get a big picture, complete sense of how their wardrobe's going to work for them and how they're going to get dressed every day,
I love
because
that.
they're seeing it in situ pulled
And you
together.
need to, right? Because otherwise you just think, oh, that new top goes with those pants. But actually, if you take the time to work out all the combos, you've got so much more to wear than you think you do. You've got some great tips. So you have 3 objectives, and I want to break down each of them. The first is finding the blueprint to your wardrobe. The second is the style uniform. And then the third is unlocking the way women get dressed in the morning. So kind of 3 steps. Can you explain the blueprint first?
Well, I guess when I say blueprint, it really is identifying and establishing what your personal style is. So once we get a handle on what that is, we can then sort of put some pegs in the ground, if you like. What are the items of clothing that are going to contribute to that sort of style blueprint?
Okay.
What are the things you need? Once we establish what that blueprint is, it just makes every future purchase a little easier.
Yes.
And it relates back to what you have, how you get dressed, how you want to look. So it's really just a label for establishing your sense of personal style.
Mm-hmm. Wait, I've got another blueprint question.
Sorry.
How can someone at home establish their blueprint? They don't have a you there.
Yep.
Do they look at their 10%, the stuff they wear all the time?
Yes,
Do
absolutely.
they assess their lifestyle? They've got a toddler, they're down on the floor, or they're a lawyer and they've always got to wear, a certain style. How does one find their blueprint?
Get a big clothing rack or 2, pull out everything and start organising into groups. Pull out the things you wear all the time. Okay, they're over there. Pull out the things you really wish you could wear more of, but you're a little bit unsure as to how to do that. They're the things you really like, that you find appealing from a style point of view. Put those on another rack.
Mm-hmm.
Put the things that you just haven't worn in ages and you've got no idea why they're still hanging around taking up wardrobe space. Put them on another rack. And then a picture just slowly emerges. Like, okay, I'm wearing those things all the time. Am I wearing them because I want to, or it's just a default position because I'm used to it? Little threads will start to emerge. Now, obviously, if I'm there, I can sort of make that connection a little faster, but it does become obvious. You can see what you're wearing a lot of. You can see what's sparking joy, what you like wearing. And then you can sort of define what are those pieces that make me feel good, that I feel good in, that I want to wear more of. And it kind of just starts to gain a little bit of momentum.
Yes.
Makes sense.
It does. So that's working out the blueprint. And then from there, I guess we're left with what you call the style uniform, which everybody has. But everyone must have a different style uniform?
100%. No one's meant to look the same. That's all a bit no thank you. A lot of people will associate the word uniform and have a negative connotation about it.
It sounds a bit boring, but it doesn't. I guess uniform
mean.
feels a bit same, but that's not what we mean.
Not at all. And when I say uniform, I really just mean pertaining to the individual woman and client, because I think a lot of people find sort of solace and assurance in having a little bit of a boundary or a uniform definition, which is, okay, what does uniform mean? Oh, it means it's a collection of pieces that I wear, that I like, that all work together. So I guess my big thing when working with clients is I want to establish a framework of clothes, let's call that their uniform, that all work together more than one way. Things that we're not going to have really are items that sit on their own in isolation that don't really do anything.
Yeah, that you've got to work hard to work out how to wear them, because clothes shouldn't be that way.
Exactly. Like you look at them and you look at it and you think, I want to wear that, but I've got no idea what's going with that. Is it a skirt that then brings a top and a shoe issue with it? Is it a random top that makes no sense with your colour palette and the tones of the other items in your wardrobe?
Yes.
So once we kind of move those things on, we then introduce shapes and colours and things that all kind of work together. So you can basically put 6 of your tops with 2 pairs of your pants and all of a sudden, okay, how's my maths going? 12 different looks.
So it's a bit of a capsule wardrobe, but instead of sort of, there's so many terms for it, but it's kind of almost going through your wardrobe, working out your blueprint, and then you're like, oh, that's my style uniform.
Yeah.
And then you can, I guess, buy more of the similar look or length or whatever, because that's what you're subconsciously throwing on every morning. It's just making that conscious, okay, this is my uniform.
Exactly. It's like we need to kind of blow it all up to bring it back together, with less pieces that prove their worth, that show how they work a multitude of ways.
Yes.
Like, honestly, we are not buying a blazer unless it works 3 ways
Good.
across a number of different dress codes. And if it doesn't get that tick of approval for me, it's not coming home with the client.
It's
Because
so funny you say that because I did a mini clear out on the weekend and there was this blazer that I bought but still had tags on maybe 9 months ago, and I tried to make her work. I love the colour, but it's just not part of my style uniform. And then I thought, but I don't have those kind of pants, but maybe I could buy them. And I was trying to make the blazer fit into my style uniform and it just didn't. So I've donated her. Someone will love her. I liked her on her own, but she did not form part of my style uniform.
that's kind of it, right? That is sort of my kind of whole kind of ethos with my clients. It's things that don't make sense, that don't kind of then fit into the picture that we create. Kind of, we need to park those for now. Now, having said all of that, you absolutely can have an item that sparks joy and is there for no other reason than it makes you happy.
Of course.
You might wear it once every year and you love it. So it's not all just rules and regulations and getting rid of all the extra.
But I guess that's sort of different. Like you say, spark joy. It's kind of the Marie Kondo of your wardrobe. It's like that sparks joy. But we're talking style uniform day to day so that our busy, rushed mornings aren't spent 45 minutes trying to make that bloody blazer work.
100%. It is all about, at the end of the day, my whole process with clients is about making getting dressed every day easier.
And that's what I want to ask you about, because you finally touch on unlocking getting dressed in the morning and not hating it and feeling frenzied and throwing clothes all over the floor or throwing on something that doesn't make you feel good. So how does this work? How do we enjoy getting dressed in the morning?
By the time that I've gone through the process with my clients, from sort of the wardrobe audit through the retail appointment to the fitting where we do a styling session and fitting at home, we've demonstrated up to 50 looks. And I photograph it. I put it together for the client with.
So do you have them put on the outfit and you photograph it?
1,000,000%.
Wow.
It's a year out as well.
So then they've got a little Bible of outfits to look through.
100%. It's like inspo for the Tuesday morning when it's 6 degrees in Melbourne. You've lost the will to live. You've got to be ready for a meeting. What the heck am I wearing? Boom. Oh, page 12. Done. And it's just a guideline. It's just, it will spark thoughts on how to put other pieces together. Obviously, it's not entirely conclusive. It can't be every single combination.
No. Yeah, and they might feel then confident enough to go out and buy a few new pieces, but I'm sure they know how to work them back in.
That's exactly the whole point, is that I set them up, I create this kind of foundation, this platform where, I know how I want to look. I know the pieces that I feel good in. I know how I want my style to progress. And then they do have the confidence to layer in and add the pieces that are going to work back with those core foundation pieces.
Yeah.
It ends up being a cost saving because not only are they set up and they just don't need to keep adding. When they ring me and they get in touch, it's like, I've got to get this. I am just like Big Brother bad news person. I'm like, absolutely not.
You do not need that. Put the credit card away.
It's a hard no on that and forget it. And
we love it. If people don't have you at home, should they put on their combos, stand in front of a full-length mirror and take a photo and save them on their phone? How should people, because I love the visual reminder because I'm so forgetful. So how can we do it at home without the joy of you there?
Absolutely. You need to dedicate a Sunday afternoon to maybe thinking about just some mental load space. Clear some space in your brain to think, okay, hang on a minute. I'm just going to go back and look in my wardrobe. What have I got? Pull some things out. Try some outfits on. Things that you see on Instagram, TikTok, online, good old magazines. I still buy them. I still read them.
I love them.
Tear sheets behind me. I love that. I've got tear sheets. There's a tear sheet there I've carried around for 30 years.
I love it. Yeah, there's nothing like just sparking an idea from a photo.
That's exactly right. And it will often get you thinking about that and then something else from there. And just pull together those references, those little inspo nuggets, and then try things on. Photograph them.
Yeah.
Create a folder in your phone and you've just got them all there.
And are we doing shoes at this point as well?
And always shoes.
Full outfit.
Full outfits. Honestly, often I'll be in a change room with a client and they'll be like, they've got the outfit on and they've left their socks on. I'm like, you've got to be joking.
Oh
you
my
tell
God,
me
that's me. I shop in like activewear leggings and I just try
yeah,
dresses on over leggings because I
dress on
can't be
over the
bothered.
leggings. I'm
Yes.
like, have you, that's absolutely not happening. So sorry, I'm like the I'm like the school teacher.
No, it's true because then you think something works in your head. It's Tuesday morning, you're running late, and then the shoes don't look good. And you're like, oh, bugger it. You rip everything off and chuck on your boring black outfit.
Right. So take that extra sort of 20 minutes on Sunday to
Mm,
map it out in your brain, find your shoes, and then all of a sudden, I promise you, once you start, things start making sense and
mm.
it just sort of is self-fulfilling.
And you know what? I mean, I know it's November now, but we'll blink and it's Christmas. This could be a good little project to do if you've got some time off over Christmas and New Year's. Have a play in your wardrobe. It's kind of like a New Year reset. And then even if you just start with 15 outfits you like, that'll help.
100%. And it is often the time of year where I do get the most calls because it is that call to action to sort of
Yes.
start the year afresh, clean the slate, start again. And also think about all the items that you're not wearing that are taking up that, the 90% that we talked about
Yeah.
that's in your cupboard. You've had a great time with those pieces.
Yep.
So how about we pass them on to someone else who's going to get value and
Yes.
wear out of them? And I
Or
love
you haven't and you feel guilty and they're just sitting there making you feel bad. So sell them, donate them, and get them out.
100%. Everyone wins in that situation. And I
Mm.
love the increasing sort of circular nature of fashion. That's just been something that's fallen into my process over the last sort of probably 5 years. And I
Mm.
love it. And
Me
often
too.
at the wardrobe audit stage, I left a client with 23 garbage bags last week. To be fair, that was an all-time peak because there was a lot. She'd sort of had 20 years worth of things in her wardrobe.
Yeah. But how
You know,
fun. Your job sounds so fun.
Well, I just want to remind people fashion is so not glamorous because at my age, I'm still lugging garbage bags of clothes
Yeah.
out of the back and the boot of my car.
Yep. And scouring through dusty wardrobes and cupboards. I love it. No, I think the blueprint and working at your style uniform and then unlocking the joy of getting dressed, which is what this is about. It's not actually a shopping podcast. It's an enjoying getting dressed podcast.
It really is. And so for me, kind of, I guess, in summary, it's about what are the items you already have? What are the new things we can layer in to just give you a refreshed, renewed sense of personal style, give you a little bit of a pep in your step? Because let's be honest, new things and shopping and sparkling new things is exciting and unlocks that dopamine and we all feel good about that.
Yes.
So how do we keep that balanced? And then how do we make getting dressed joyful again? For a lot of women, getting dressed is just a chore
Yep.
that is just negative and not great. I want to make women feel good about how they look when they are out there in the world presenting the best version of themselves. I know people, say clothes and fashion is vacuous and shallow, but funnily enough, it's a tool that helps us present the best version of ourselves.
Agreed. Present the best version of yourself and just feel happy and confident.
And feel good.
Now, Anthea, we're about to jump into bougie and budget, but first, if our listeners want to find out more of your tips and about your services, where can they find you?
They can have a look at my Instagram, Anthea O'Connor, and my page is called The Fashion Edit, but it's under my name, and also my website, antheaoconnor.com. So I've got a lot of information about how I work with my clients and my services on my website, so a bit more detail there.
Bougie and budget. So sticking to the theme of sort of blueprint, personal style uniform, I am going to shock you because I'm normally jeans and a T-shirt, but we're heading into the humid Sydney weather. So I've got what is my sort of style uniform for summer. I've got an more expensive skirt and a more affordable tank. But do you want to go first with your bougie or your budget?
A bougie item worth the investment is a blazer for me. Now, I am from Melbourne, so really we are wearing blazers 360 out of 365 days.
Totally.
So it's a fairly safe bet. So a blazer, and I had I won Fashion Tats Lotto last year when I was in London, and I found a Celine blazer for 60% off in my size. Thank you, fashion gods.
Yeah, that's your good fashion karma coming back to you.
So that's been just an absolute winner, and I love it, and I'll wear it forever. And it was a bit different to what I'd normally buy, but it all just fell into place. I love it. So bougie, I think blazers are worth the spend. They're certainly worth buying as well as you can in that category, in that space. Get a great cut, a great style that works for your body shape, that you feel good in, and it's going to go the distance. So that for me is tick, worth the money.
I think particularly because when you throw on a blazer too, it just makes you feel powerful. Like it is a power item. I don't know why, but
it just makes you feel pulled together and polished, and like you've sort of finished the job, really, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely. That's a good way to put it. And what's your budget?
Okay, well, the budget, no surprise here, is a white T-shirt, and my current favourite is the COS clean cut T-shirt.
Heaven. That's such a good tee. Honestly, I feel like I need to go on a tee ban, but every time I just see a good tee, I can't not buy it.
Well, I now have a wardrobe of white T-shirts, so, pleased to say not a full wardrobe of blazers. It's a wardrobe of white T-shirts, and they all do different things, right? So
They do.
different weight of fabric, different neckline, sleeve. They all do little different things.
Agreed.
So, can justify a few. But that COS T-shirt is my new current fave, and it'd probably be sold out by, at the end of this season because I've told that many people.
Make sure you stock up before you tell anyone else. Well, speaking of COS, my bougie is from COS. It's the maxi slip skirt.
Yes.
Because I love a slip skirt and a tank or a white tee, especially it's quite humid here in summer in Sydney and also perimenopause. I'm getting hot.
I run hot.
I run hot. So I'm normally jeans and a tee, but my kind of version of that is a slip skirt. But the reason I love this one is it's fully lined.
Yes.
Because I don't want that cheap sort of satin that's clings to all your bulges and your undies. This is fully lined. It comes in a light sort of blue dusty colour. So it's not that kind of kid-like baby blue. It's a mature light blue. Fully lined silk and cotton. It's $215, so you can definitely get a lot more affordable slip skirts.
Yes.
But I think cheap looks cheap with a slip skirt. Or, you can get good affordable ones, but you can also get nasty ones. Nice, not too high slit up the side, but enough that you can walk.
Yes.
You've got to be able to walk. So I love that. Flats, heels, sneakers, honestly, anything with that.
All of it.
And then I'm putting with that, I've actually got this in two colours. It's a bit like your tee. It's the H&M knit tank, $34.99. It looks like a good old Bonds singlet, but it's a thicker ribbed knit, whereby the straps are thick enough to wear a bra. It comes in black, white, beige and red.
Okay, I'm making notes because I'm buying that the minute we hang up.
It is just such a good basic tank. You could wear that with a lovely wide leg pant and a heel.
Yep.
Your jeans, your shorts, your blazer, you chuck on an overshirt. It's just one of those really good all-rounders. So that's my blueprint for this summer is
Perfect.
I'm mixing it up.
Perfect. And can I just add around that tank?
Yes.
When you sort of move out of a cotton tank, sort
Yes.
of conventional cotton tank, into that more of a knit tank, all of a sudden that feels like a dressier top.
It does.
That whole
That's it.
jeans and a nice top concept. So
Yes.
that then goes back into the whole back with your jeans, back with your jean shorts, back with all these knee-length denim jean shorts that we're seeing a lot of this summer.
Yes, that's it.
That top's going to roll out 100 ways.
Yes, but then, a beautiful, like I've got like a cream pair of wide leg pants. Like I could chuck on a heel and go somewhere quite fancy with that tank. And I like that the cut looks like a traditional white singlet, but the knit just brings up that elevation and it's $35.
Yeah, no, I'm just going to be jumping on there the minute
Well, Anthea, I think we should go on and buy each other's purchases before we tell the whole world. Thank you for joining me. I love the blueprint. I've got it in my head, but I'm going to go home and do it physically because I know my style uniform. I'm a bit of a chameleon, but at the end of the day, I know what's going to be on that first rack.
You do. And I think it's just about taking that formal step to moving all the other stuff on, just conceding that these are the pieces you wear.
Yes.
And, the truth is, you don't need a lot in the end.
No,
That's the thing. If you get rid of the clutter, the liberating feeling, and I see it with my clients, the minute we move the volume out, everyone's shoulders go down.
Yep.
Things become clearer. Things become more joyful, as we talked about.
Yep.
And it all becomes a lot easier. And we've sort of untangled the kind of the little sort of knot. Fashion, my wardrobe, and how I get dressed. It all just sort of.
It's so true. It is. It's simple. We make things hard for ourselves. Anthea, thank you so much for joining me. I will be having you back soon because you're a wealth of knowledge.
Oh, you're the best, Lee. Thank you for having me. It's been a lot of fun.